Hi guys, editing DJ here. Sorry this camera is butt quality. When I was recording the podcast, I have new equipment now. And so when I was recording, I didn't realize that all of the audio went into the left ear. I also did not realize that the mic was really quiet. So I had to go in and like re-edit the audio, make it mono, make it so like there's like a static noise in the original. Make sure that static was not there anymore. So the mics might sound a little weird. It may be like a tad low quality, but that is because of the editing that I had to do on it. I swear, next episode, and you should be able to hear it on this mic right now as I'm recording it. Next episode, all that will be fixed. I have fixed it all. I wanted to tell you up front now before the episode started. But yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of the djsdaze podcast. Oh my God. Hey. Never did I think we'd be here again. That's a lie. First of all, peep the microphone. We have new equipment. So I have this microphone. I have another one of these microphones. And then I now have a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 4th generation. Yeah. I got it all under $200. Thank you, Guitar Center used section. And yeah, we also have new lights. I don't think I filmed an episode with these lights before. But these lights are new. I've used them in my streams before, so if you watch me stream, then you've seen them there. This setup for the lights is a little wonky because I wanted to sit at my desk, but I think there's just too much in the background. Like, I know this is a lot, but, like, it's even more when I sit at my desk. So, we're going to stick to this angle for now. Besides, this is the angle you all know and love. Anyways, welcome back to the pod, guys. I'm very excited. I don't really know what to talk about, if you want me to be honest. I just knew that I wanted to film an episode, and I was like, it's not going to get done if I try to, like, think it. So let me just film. Yeah, I really don't know what to talk about. I think maybe let's talk about, like, the three big things in my life right now, which is Fortnite, Evil Dead Burn, and Love Island, because Love Island just ended. I think that's a good three topics, and then we'll do Song of the Week, because I've been meaning to do that every episode, and we haven't been doing that. But you know, maybe I'll be more consistent with the pod now, and so we'll be more consistent in providing the Song of the Week to you all. If you see my eyes keep moving away from the camera, it's because I'm looking at my laptop that's on my desk because I'm trying to see the framing and everything, but I think it's fine. I hate this shadow right there. That's a problem for later. Let's just go. Let's just talk about it. I really don't know what to talk about first. Let's talk about Evil Dead Burn because that is still new. And so I don't want to talk about it at the end and then nobody listens to the end of the episode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chapter this episode out, okay? So whatever you're listening to, whether that be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, any other platform I have this posted to, because I don't even know all the platforms it's posted on, which is maybe a problem. There'll be chapters. This episode will be chaptered out. Go ahead and skip me talking about Evil Dead Burn if you don't want to hear about that, if you don't want any spoilers, because I am going to talk about the movie. I am going to talk about spoilers. There is no way for me to do that without doing spoilers. I've learned that's just who I am as a person. So I saw Evil Dead Burn. I saw it, I think maybe on opening day, or maybe, no, it was not opening day. It was the day after. So I saw it on the Saturday of opening weekend. And I need to give context before I start talking. I would not say that I am a Evil Dead fan per se, but like I don't hate the movies, but I have not seen all of them. So like I've seen 1 and 3 when I was a kid. I kind of remember 1. I don't really remember 3 except for like the time period that it's set in. Other than that, I remember nothing about 3. Have not seen the 2013 remake, and then I watched Rise and finished it maybe about 15 minutes before I had to leave the house to go watch Burn, because I knew that the director that worked on Rise was also working on Burn. So I was like, in case they're connected in any way, let me watch Rise. So those are my qualifications. So, if I don't know something or I miss something and it's like, well, in Ash vs. Evil Dead in episode 54, I know nothing about that. Okay? So please don't get mad at me cuz I don't know anything about that. All right? Thank you. So I saw Evil Dead Burn, and I don't really know how to attack it. Let me start by, it's a good movie. It's not my favorite. I did like Burn. I like Burn more. Stupid. I liked Rise more. I think Rise, to my knowledge, feels more like an Evil Dead film a little bit. And I'll get into why in un moment. But yeah, you know what I mean? Burn's okay. I liked the story. I kind of liked the cult stuff. That was cool. I do need to get more into that. And I am gonna educate myself more. Pause. I am gonna educate myself more on Evil Dead. Okay. All of the Evil Deads are on HBO Max, and I do have that ad free. So I don't know if I should start with the beginning. I might just watch not just, but I might watch the 2013 version first. Because I know it's a remake, but it's not like a 1-to-1. It's like a different kind of thing. So I don't know. When you listen to this, let me know. Should I watch from the first one and then just go from there? I don't know. Tell me. Let me know. But yeah, it was okay. I liked Rise more. And it's for a couple of reasons. One, I completely jinxed myself in in what I said to my father on the car ride to the movie theater. I was telling him, I was like, oh, I just finished Rise, because he was telling me, oh, watch Rise before we go see it, and did not do that, and I did not remember until I was on the way back from my friend Nick. Was in a play called What the Constitution Means to Me, and so I saw their last encore performance of it, and I did not remember until as I was on my way back home, I said, oh my god, I'm going to go watch this movie, and I haven't watched Evil Dead Rise yet. And so I literally started watching it in the car on 1.25 speed, so I could finish it in time. Where was I going with that? See, this is why I needed to script this out. Where was I going with that? Oh, I jinxed myself in the car because I'm Jesus. Great return episode, everyone. I was telling my dad in the car, I was like, I hope it's not worse than Rise. I was like, Rise wasn't too bad. I was like, there are a couple things in Rise that I was like, because I get a little queasy. Okay. Moments that have gotten me queasy include the remake of Pet Sematary, where the old guy is walking down the stairs and his possessed wife, I don't know. I haven't seen it in years. I need to go back and rewatch. But whatever, takes an X-Acto blade type of knife and stabs it through his foot and then cuts his Achilles tendon. Yeah, hated that. That made me throw up. And then when I went and saw him in theaters, something about the way of how they because if you don't know what Him is about, it's a movie. It's about this football guy. He's in college. He gets a really bad head injury. Someone attacks him. He gets a really bad head injury. Doesn't make it in the league. Then he gets taken under the wing of his idol football player or whatever. And certain ways that they would highlight his head injury in that movie made me grossed out a little bit. I was like, right. I had to get up out of the theater, had to get a water at concessions, paid $7 for a water because I was a little queasy at the movie. And so I was telling my dad, I was like, I hope Burn is not as bad as Rise, but Rise was not that bad. I was like, I don't think that there was many things that really got me. The cheese grater was a little much. And then the tattoo gun when the mom gets possessed and she turns the tattoo machine is on. She stabs it into her head, and like has her blood get in the needle, and then stabs it in her daughter's face, and like drags it across. Daughter, child, I don't know. They were a little non-binary to me, but like that kind of scene got me. But it was not like, you know what I mean? Like it didn't make me do that. And so I was like, oh, I really hope Burn isn't as bad as Rise, but Rise wasn't that bad. Why do I open my mouth to speak? I think it's a really good question that we all need to be asking ourselves. Why do we open our mouths to talk? In Burn, there is a scene of what I am now learning is the dishwasher door. Thought it was a chair. Apparently, it's the dishwasher door. I don't know. I wasn't really looking. There's a scene where the girlfriend gets taken over. She is a deadite. The girlfriend of Joseph, not the girlfriend that was with, not the French one. The girlfriend of Joseph, she's now a deadite. And I think it's Joseph that kills her. I'm not too sure. Again, I was not really looking because it was getting a little much for me. But she gets her face smashed in with this dishwasher door. Again, I think it's a dishwasher door. Gets her face smashed in with a dishwasher door about 15 times. And I got up out of the theater. Now, I did genuinely have to get up and go to the bathroom. But that first time I got up was during that scene, and I was like, okay, so it's starting. Cool. But I did genuinely have to use the bathroom. And then the second time that I left the theater was the French girlfriend, is getting attacked by the grandma. The grandma's now a deadite. And there's this like fountain pen that you see in the beginning that got gifted to Joseph from Will. And it's like $1,000 fountain pen, whatever. The fountain pen does not hold a lot of relevance, I don't think. It kind of holds relevance in his character of he gives him the like expensive pen, and the French girl, I don't know why I can't think of her name, Alice, I think, but she's like, that's a lot of fucking money, and he was like, yeah, maybe it'll be some type of push for him to finally finish his book. That's like one of his things in Joseph's character is that he has like all of these aspirations and all these things that he wants to do, but he's never fully finished them. He's never had anything to be proud of, which that then gets brought up again in the movie. But and because of the scene actually, but not because of the scene, because of the dishwasher door. Whoa, see what happens when I don't script it, guys. We need to get me on medication immediately. Whatever. Anyways. You see the pen. It's a thing for Joseph and whatever. Grandma is fighting with the French girl, with Alice. I'm going to say that's what her name is. And if that's not her name, then too bad. Grandma is fighting with Alice, and she, like, has the pen. Alice had the pen. She drops it. Grandma takes the pen, right? And Grandma says something to, like, taunt her because, that's what, like, deadites do. And then she says something that she had said earlier, which she says, oh, don't turn a deaf ear. And then she stabs the pen into her ear. Into her ear. And then a little bit later, Alice tries to pull the pen out, and it's only the body of the pen that comes out, right? The tip of the pen is still in her ear. So then she has to take tweezers and, like, take the tip of the pen out. And that that one had to step out for her. And then I looked up the runtime of the movie, because I was like, damn, I've been in here for a second. I look up the runtime of the movie, 2 hours. And guess what? It was heading on 2 hours since the movie had started. I said, damn, I got to get back in that theater. I'm going to miss the end of this movie. And then I'm going to get really upset. So I forced myself to get back in. And when I tell you, like, my response was like, I feel like I'm going to throw up and the back of my neck is hot. And I looked that up. I said, hey, what's that about? Hey, guess what? It's also the same reaction you get when you, like, if you feel like you're going to pass out when you're getting blood drawn, that's the same reaction. From what I learned, again, I'm not a doctor. I'm simply just a person that has access to google.com. So that is not from the AI results. Thank you very much. Did my own research. No Google Gemini here. So those two scenes kind of got me. Those were worse than Rise, and so jinxed myself with that. Another thing about Burn that I did not like was the coloring was really flat. The coloring left much to be desired, as some would say. I think that Rise had really good coloring, but it was really hard to see everything. It was very dark. It was a very dark movie. But on the flip side, you could see everything that was happening in Burn. Really bland-looking movie, though. And the coloring was kind of similar to the 2013 version. I will say in that regard, in the clips that I've seen, again, I have not seen that movie, but in the clips that I have seen of that movie, it is kind of the similar coloring type of situation. So I don't know if that was like intentional. I don't know. I'm not here to talk about that. Again, this isn't a film review. This is simply just what I thought. Okay. So yeah, there's that. And then like the last kind of thing that kind of did it for me was I liked the movie up until, not to say I didn't like the movie. I enjoyed the movie more up until the boyfriend pops out. Will pops out. So like in the beginning of the film, let me explain it to you. So in the beginning of the film, you see the lake that you see in the beginning of Rise, right? And so you don't have to learn the story of Rise. It's just once the initial Deadites from Rise die, then you see this girl coming in to get ready for her camping trip. And she lives in the same apartment complex that Rise happens in. She comes into the parking garage. She's on the phone with her friend. She's not really paying attention to what happened. And then finally she gets off the phone with her friend. She looks around. She sees all this blood in the parking garage. She's like, oh my God. And then a Deadite possesses her, right? Which then transports you to the beginning of Rise where it's this girl and two other people. It's this girl and her boyfriend, I think, and then her friend in this cabin. And the friend goes back in the house, and she's like, I hate your boyfriend, and I don't want to be out here. I don't want to be out there with him, so I'm just going to be in here with you. And then she starts getting possessed by a Deadite. She scalps her, like, kills her boyfriend, whatever, right? And then you get the title card, where she goes into the water, and then she rises up, and then it's Evil Dead Rise. So, in Burn, that lake comes back, and it's two guys, and they're fishing. And I don't know the time difference between the two. I don't know how many years are in between Rise and Burn. I don't know if they happen at the same time. Please don't ask me any question like that, because I could not tell you. But it's like two guys fishing, and one guy gets taken. The other guy has to like take a phone call. The other guy gets taken, whatever. And when the guy comes back, he gets in the water. He starts drowning, whatever. And then the girl from Evil Dead Rise, she rises back up. Right, she starts boiling the water. She go like this. She literally goes, and then the water starts boiling. Okay, which was actually kind of cool. And then guy comes out. She leaves, and she's like in the forest. She's wandering in the forest, and now it's night, right? And we see this car coming, and it's like speeding, and because she's a Deadite, she's like, and then she walks in front of the car and gets hit by it, right? That then jump cuts into an ass-shaking jump scare. I'm not even joking. Not even joking to you. That is indeed what happened. She gets hit by the car, and right when it happens, the camera goes like this, and now there's booty right in front of you, and they're shaking ass to a Joey Valence and Bray song. Thank God. And then that's when you see the pen get gifted and whatever. And so in this, like, gifting of the pen, you're starting to see that Will... So, let me catch you back up, because I'm aware that I've been jumping place to place. Will is dating Alice, okay? Alice is French, okay? Will is the brother of Joseph, okay? And Joseph is dating his girlfriend. I don't remember her name. I'm so sorry. Thea, maybe? I couldn't tell you. I don't remember. But that's kind of the relations that's going on here. So Will gifts his brother, I think it's his brother's birthday. I think it's Joseph's birthday. Will gifts Joseph this pen, and Alice is like, whoa, like that's crazy. That's a lot of money. What's going on? And they kind of start to bigger back and forth, and you see that Will is abusive, right? You can kind of sense it. You can feel it. Just by the way that he is talking to Alice, and by the way that Joseph is getting kind of uncomfortable. And so is his girlfriend as well. You can kind of tell that that's like the vibe that's going on. And so Alice like eventually just gets fed up with it, and she leaves, and she's outside smoking. And I guess Will owns this club that they're in. I never got that part of the movie. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe it was explained while I was on the theater, but I never really got that part. Whatever. The club that they were in, a staff member comes out and they start talking about Will, in the way of like he is the owner. That's why I infer that. And so they start talking, and then Will comes out with Joseph and with Joseph's girlfriend, and Will's like, "Oh yeah, just talk shit about me to my staff about how I'm such a terrible person," right? He's being very clearly abusive, and him and Alice start to fight again. And he's like, man, fuck this. And so he goes to drive, and Joseph's like, no, give me your keys. I will drive you. You are way too drunk for you to drive. And Will's like, get off me. And he just gets in his car and speeds off. He's speeding. You see him speeding. The person that hit the girl that came out from the lake is Will. So he's speeding, he hits the girl, right? And he like fucks his car like so bad, flips. I'm explaining all of this for a reason, just bear with me. And so he's like flipped upside down. He's like, oh, what the fuck? The girl is like through the windshield of his car, right? And he's like, oh my god, like please, like stay still, please don't move. Like I'll call 911. And he goes to like reach for his phone, and he drops it, and now it's like outside of the car. And the girl starts laughing, and he's like, the fuck? And she like fully like turns her head. No. Yeah, no, she like turns her head all the way towards him, like almost 360, and then starts to like pull her own neck off, because you know it's deadites. They don't, there's no logic. And so through her throat being open, she's like, Joseph, we finally found you. And then her head gets detached and like rolls out of the car. He's like, what the fuck? And then her being a deadite and having magical powers, she sets his car on fire, and then he burns and he dies. Okay? Now we're here. Now we're to my point. I liked the movie. I liked the cult. I liked the way they were showing the deadites. The fight scenes were really cool. Like, a lot of the fight scenes weren't like action shots, you know, where it's like punch, cut, stab, cut. You know what I mean? But it was like, there's a fight scene where it's just like a drone shot, and it just stays there. Like, it's not like moving with the action, or like, you know what I mean? Here's this close up of this punch, and then here's this stab that you're gonna see really close, and then here's, you know what I mean? Like, it some of the shots just stay there. And you know what I mean? Like, I liked the movie. And then okay. If you don't know anything about Evil Dead, there's like 3 ways to kill them, which is dismemberment, burning them like completely, or using the Cardarian dagger. I think that's how you say it. Which is made by the Circle of the Wise Men. That's the cult shit, whatever. And so Alice finally incapacitates the deadites enough to like set the whole fucking house on fire. And so she does that, right? She runs out of the house. She's in the front yard. And then this like upside down shot of her happens. And then you see the Terminator standing in the flames, and it's Will. It's Will. That ain't nothing but a bag of bones. And he's talking about this is, because where they got married was at that house. Okay, so there's like a little canopy, and he walks up to it. He's like, this is where I promised I'd stay with you forever. And now it'll be that way. And then he like touches his hand on the canopy, and then it like lights up in flames. This is my problem. While in the context of the movie, to be Alice and to think you're done with all this bullshit that just happened, right? You just had to kill 5 people and set a house ablaze. The family house, right? And to think that you have escaped that family who protected Will in his abusive state, because you kind of find out through the movie that they all kind of knew what was going on between them, but they never said anything, and they never, like, bonked him on his head, right? They never popped his butt. After all that, you then see your boyfriend, who you think is dead, standing in the flames of this house, and he's talking about you thought you could get rid of me, and da da da. In the context of the movie, terrifying, horrible thing. As the watcher of the movie, that shit was corny, I'm not gonna lie to you. That shit was corny as fuck. And this is why I think it was corny. Because they presented him in such, like, a super villain-esque way. There's always a final boss of some sort in Evil Dead movies, right? I cannot speak for everyone, but I can tell you that the one in, like, Evil Dead Rise was, like, the, like, 6-legged, like, 3-person Deadite at the end, right? That was, like, the final boss. But that felt natural. That did not feel like, you saw how that happened. It made sense in, like, Deadite world. You know what I mean? It made sense. And all of the other bosses make sense because they're like, they're just like Deadites. It's just like an obstacle. That's all it is, really. It's like, if you think about it in a story, it's like the final obstacle you have to overcome. That's really what it is. So, to present Will as this, like, fucking super villain, that he's standing in the flames of the house and he's like, I told you. Like, it was so corny. And then it's all CGI. Him being burned from, like, here, and then his bones, it's all CGI. Like, it's not like a Deadite. You know, that's a little messed up. Like, and of course there's CGI used throughout the movie. Like, the dad, like, trigger warning, the dad, like, shoots himself in the head 3 times for no reason, mind you. But this is when he's a Deadite, so he doesn't die. But one of the you see one of the places where he shot himself, like, up close, and that was CGI, right? Because it's like you're seeing muscle and teeth kind of working, so it's like that was CGI. Okay, cool. It's not the problem with the CGI I have. It's just the way that they presented him, and that he wasn't, like, a Deadite. And even then, like, I would have preferred, because he's getting hinted at towards the movie. Like, first of all, you can assume that he's going to come back. Because up until this point of him popping out in the flames of the house, you only see him in the car wreck, and then you see him get burned, and that's it. Oh, and then you see him burn his dad at the funeral. And then that's kind of how all this Deadite shit starts, like, within the family, in the house. But, like, you don't ever see him again. So you're figuring he's going to come back. And even, like, his mom hints at it in the movie when she's at it, and she's like, Will's on his way. Will's coming. Right? But I feel like I would have just rathered him to just pop up in the house before Alice burnt the whole shit down. You know what I'm saying? And I think it would have been cooler for him to just pop up in the house, even if he was all the CGI in the bag of bones. And then they have their little fight sequence, and then she burns the house, and then he burns again, and then he dies. You know what I mean? Like, that would have been cool. My light here is dying. This one right here. I'm so sad about it. I knew it was going to happen. Whatever. But you know what I mean? Like, that would have been cooler than showing him up in the flames, and him being like, I told you. Boy, you corny. Boy, get your... Like, I'm so irritated. And then their fight scene was kind of dragged along a little bit. Like, him and Alice's fight scene was, like, a good 7 to 10 minutes. Like, it was a long little fight scene. So those are kind of all my grievances with it. Did I like it? Sure. Would I watch it again? Maybe not. You know, if I come from this and I watch all the Evil Dead movies after this, and then I really like Evil Dead, then maybe I'll rewatch it in like a rewatch series where I'm trying to watch them all at the same time. But I would not sit down and put it on. It was okay. I think I gave it 2 stars on Letterboxd. Yeah, it was all right. I think you would have a better time with it if you were an Evil Dead fan. I am not. That can still be changed. But just as it stands right now, it being really, if we're going to speak realistically, like the second Evil Dead movie I've seen, it was okay. It was all right. I wish that there was more story. I wish that there was more kind of emphasis on the cult thing. That would have been cool to kind of dive deeper into that. And then another thing is I wish that we had seen more character development between all the characters, but I also do understand that there's the mom, the dad, the grandma, the girlfriend, Joseph, the French one, Will, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of characters that we're already kind of juggling throughout this whole thing. So I understand that not everybody got, like, character development, but I do wish we got a little more. We got a little more character from these people. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Evil Dead Burn. If you think different than me, I don't want to say I don't care, but if you're gonna come at me and be like, your opinion is wrong, then I don't care. That makes sense. Second of all, let's go into Love Island. I think Fortnite, I'm not gonna have a lot to say, but I do want to talk about it because I've been playing Fortnite a lot. So we'll talk about Love Island. So Love Island has ended. The 6 weeks of my summer, I will never get back. No, this season was genuinely really good. I have not seen a lot of Love Island. I've seen part of season 6, and then I watched all of season 8. Brinity in 5. I knew Brinity was gonna win, and I will say I was not on the Brinity bandwagon at first. It took me a second. I had to get warmed up to them, right? I loved Trinity. And I mean this in like the least disrespectful way. I really mean no disrespect, but some people might find disrespect in this statement. So that's why I'm saying I mean it in the least disrespectful way possible. She is a young ho, and I love that. Her personality was just so great, and she was such a funny person in the villa. But I did not like Bryce. The fact that he's from Vegas. Yeah, and the fact that he like models and DJs and he does in his words, all that typical LA shit. Yeah, I didn't like him. And if you want me to be honest, I think he's kind of ugly. I still think he's kind of ugly. But he is funny. And he is a really well match with Trinity, and I'm very glad that him and Trinity won. Now let's talk about the drama. Casey, come to the front. I'm gonna take a little word from Upstairs Neighbors in their Upstairs Islanders section of them talking about Love Island, and I'm gonna need you to come to the front because I need to pop your butt. Yep. Your butt needs to be popped, okay? And nobody did it to you during Family Day, so I'm gonna do it to you right now. You are one of the most disgusting people I have seen on Love Island. Have I seen all of Love Island? No. But you are under Rob for me. And if you know me, I hate Rob. In the little bit that I watched Love Island, I fucking hate Rob. And Casey, you're under him. Now, some people can make the claim that Sincere was worse. If I had a Fuji apple, and I had a cosmic apple, they look similar, but they taste different. That was my Sincere impression. Thank you so much. Someone argued that Sincere was worse. I don't think Sincere was worse, only because he was not outwardly disrespectful, right? And I mean that in a way of, did he play in Melanie face? 100%. Did he talk to Melanie and be like, oh, you're the only girl I want, and then go turn around and then talk to Soul for hours until sunset in Fiji? Yes, he totally did do that. Here's my thing, though. Casey was so outwardly disrespectful in the way that he talked and the way that he moved about Anaya, right? Because the way it worked was like, Anaya was like, do you want to explore? And he was like, no, you're all that I want. And then he told the boys, he was like, damn, I wish I could explore Seoul. And then the boys would tell Anaya, like, yo, Casey wants to explore. And, like, he feels restricted. And so Anaya would go, do you feel restricted? And he was like, no, I don't feel restricted at all. We good. And then he would go and tell Seoul, like, I would talk to you, but, like, you really had that connection with Sincere, and so I didn't want to take you away from that. Okay, so what's that about? And then her not wanting to do anything physical with Casey, and then him calling her a grandma because of that. Sister, what are we doing? And then, like, as soon as he got to Casa, it was bam, immediate. And he was so cringe in Casa because he was talking about my aura. Like, I could just feel my aura getting stronger. Your aura? Are you 15 and in high school? What's going on? You are too grown to be talking about some fucking your aura. Like, are we dead butt right now? Like, this is embarrassing. And then he wants to openly say to all of the guys while they're getting dressed in Casa, he want to talk about I feel like the girls back in the village just didn't get my power. Your power? He was like, they just didn't my power. They didn't get my aura. They didn't get my strength. What the fuck are you what are you talking about? What's that in your pocket? No, I just seen you put something in your pocket. What was that? Like, that was so, and the way that he talked in Casa and then everything after that was so, like, incel and red pill. And I guess he was reposting incel stuff on Twitter. But guess what? I don't know nothing about that. I didn't see nothing about that. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying I didn't see the screenshots. I didn't see the receipts. But just the way it was just so gross. And then he comes in. We're not even going to talk about, because everybody has talked about, you pipe down, I'm TT. You a little girl. Everybody has talked about that. So I'm not even going to talk about that, whatever. He should have spoke with his own mouth. And then he wants to be like, no, nobody picked me the first day. Let's not forget that part. Well, nobody picked Anaya either, if we're going to do that. If we're going to do not being picked. Nobody picked Anaya either, but whatever. The way that he was talking about TT to Sincere, and he was like, I'm going to make her my girlfriend. She's proven that she's worthy to be my girlfriend. What? What about you is prizeworthy? Truly, let me know. Let me know in the comments down below. What about you is prizeworthy? She's proven herself to be worthy to be my girlfriend. What? Huh? And he said that, and I was like, that is so gross. Even though I do not like TT, and I still don't like TT, and you will never get me on the TT train, I didn't like that. That was gross the way he talked about her like that. Like, that was so disgusting. And I wish nothing but the worst for Casey. I hope he gets no brand deals. And if he does get brand deals, I hope it's the most, like, embarrassing products ever. I hope it's like Dr. Squash. Like, I really hope it is the most embarrassing thing to get a brand deal for. And then I hope everybody on Twitter laughs at you for taking that brand deal. Sincere, we knew he was evil. We've been know he was evil. He got in that confessional talking about, I'll tell the truth, but I'll tell the whole truth, which is where I think these two-faced accusations are coming from. Yes, that's exactly where it's coming from. You don't tell the whole truth. Because when you told Melanie that you kissed Soul, you were like, oh, it's only one or two little kisses. You were making out with her in Speakeasy. You didn't tell her that. She didn't find out till movie night. And then that's when she crashed on your ass talking about, you keep saying you're going to fix it. You're not fucking fixing it. When are you going to fucking fix it, Sincere? You didn't fix it. You said you were going to fix it, so you didn't fix it. You said you was going to fix it in Casa. You didn't fix it. That's why that crash out happened. Okay? This light just died. But that's why that crash out happened. But we knew Sincere was a bad guy. We knew that from the beginning. And I think this light is dying too, so I should probably wrap this up. But yeah, Brinity in 5, I'm so glad that they won. I'm sad Carl and Anaya didn't win, but, like, I did want Brinity in 5, but I also would not have been mad with Carl and Anaya. I think they're so cute. Carl, come hit my line, even though I know you're with, scratch that. Anaya, if you need a third, right? If you need a third, let me know. let me know. I'll be in the cuck share even. Dare I say. But yeah, so that's me in Love Island, and then me in Fortnite. Guys, I started playing 4 days. I started playing Fortnite again because I've played Fortnite before, but I started playing Fortnite again 4 days before the last season ended. My TV just turned off. And 4 days before the season ends, the rivalries are happening. I learned that you have to win 160 rivalries to get the rivalry umbrella. So what do? Thank you so much for asking. I get to 163 within 4 days. I killed 163 people in 4 days to get a stupid umbrella in Fortnite. And now I've played like every day for this new season. I will say I'm getting sick and tired of the sprites. It's getting really irritating. They just ended the Gone Wild event, which helped so much because you got like a 2 XP from the campfire, which then went to 4 XP on Mastery Mondays. That was great. You could fish for sprites. Can't do that no more. Like, so many great features have been taken out because that update no longer exists, and it makes me very sad. And the sprites are just getting too much. I don't even have a 0 point yet. Not a single 0 point sprite. Not even one. Don't have Grim either. That's not a thing. So, although on the day of recording this, an update is supposed to come out tomorrow with new sprites. So, we'll see how those go. 2 of them are collab sprites. So, oh wait, no, the John Wick one isn't coming out yet. It's just the Batman one. Just the Batman one is coming out, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just wish there was some type of other incentive for the sprites. Because a lot of the power-ups also fucking suck. I also don't want to take a sprite into a match if I'm just going to get hunted for it, and then I have to spend 15k sprite test to get it back. I just don't want to do that. And so, yeah. So I'm getting kind of sick of sprites, but I don't know. We'll see. There's still, I think a month or so left of the season, so we'll see how they improve that. But yeah, those are 3 big things in my life right now. Guys, team, we're so back. We're so back. If you listen to this episode, think, oh, the song of the week. What is my song of the week? My song of the week is either going to be Hot and Ready, or Party's Over by Austin Crute. Those are both on SoundCloud. You can go listen to those. Hot and Ready is a fun little, I want to say it's like a West Coast beat. It's a fun little West Coast beat. It's great. And then Party's Over is just top 5 Austin songs. Can't even lie to you. But that is going to wrap it up. Both of my lights are dying. I probably should have charged them before I started filming. But again, this was filmed on a whim because I knew if I wasn't going to film it, it was never going to get filmed. I love you guys so much. Please, if you're not following the podcast already, follow, subscribe on whatever platform you're here for. If you are listening to only the audio version and you want to see the video version exists on Spotify and YouTube. And until Spotify for podcasters let me distribute video to other podcast platforms, that's where the video is going to live for right now. I'm so sorry. Rate us 5 stars. Let us know in the comments. Tell your friends. Do whatever. Really push this out because I do want to be like a little gay niche podcaster. I don't want to get famous, but you know what I mean? I just want to, maybe just get a little famous, just get a little something. So yeah, tell your friends, tell your family, whatever. And yeah, this is gonna wrap it up for this episode. Sorry, this is kind of an abrupt ending, but I'm watching my light actively die, and so I'd rather not end this episode in darkness and while I'm still slightly illuminated. So yeah, love you guys so much. And yeah, stay safe, don't die. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.